All right, so today we're going to tackle one of the biggest questions out there about AI. But we're going to come at it from a completely different angle, one that might just change how you think about our own existence and our place in the universe. You've heard this question a million times, right? It's the plot of basically every sci-fi movie. For some, it's a terrifying thought. For others, it's this incredible hope for the future. But what if? What if the entire question is just wrong from the start? We usually picture this whole thing as a race, or maybe a ladder. We're standing on one rung, and AI is just a few rungs below, climbing as fast as it can. And the assumption is, eventually, it's going to reach our rung, and maybe even climb right past us. But what if we're not on a ladder at all? Okay, so, Section 1, Dimensions as Modes of Being. To really get this new idea, we have to completely redefine a word we all think we know, dimension. And trust me, it's probably not what you're thinking. This single idea is the key to everything. So just for a minute, forget length, width, and height. What if a dimension isn't about physical space, but it's about a mode of being, a fundamental set of rules that defines a whole category of existence? So a dimension is defined by its rulebook. For instance, is time a straight line? Is loss a real permanent thing? Do your choices have consequences you can't undo? See, these aren't questions about where something is, they're questions about what it is. We're talking about ontology here, the actual nature of being itself. And this is the perfect way to picture it. Don't think of humans on the second floor and AI on the first trying to climb the same staircase. No. Instead, imagine us on the x-axis of a graph and AI on the y-axis. They can both stretch on forever, getting more and more complex, but they will never, ever intersect. They can't become each other. So, Section 2, Human versus AI Existence. Now that we have this framework, let's actually look at the rule books. What are the fundamental differences between the human dimension and the AI dimension? And when you lay them out side by side, the differences are just staggering. We're biological creatures. We're embodied. We exist in a physical space. Our entire reality is shaped by our senses, and it's all governed by one unavoidable fact: mortality. Our choices have real weight because loss is real. But an AI, it's a pattern. It's not present like we are, it's activated. It kind of floats in this timeless space between prompts, and it has absolutely no concept of genuine, irreversible risk or loss. Okay, but I know what you're thinking. What about virtual worlds? The metaverse, right? Isn't that the place where these two dimensions finally meet and merge? Well, not exactly. Here's the thing. A human enters a virtual world. We bring our bodies and our lives, everything that exists outside that simulation with us. For us, VR is just an extension of our dimension. But an AI doesn't enter from anywhere. It just operates there. That simulation is its native context, an expression of what it is. That boundary between us is still there. And this is such a critical point. An AI can become aware of human grief. It can process every poem, every song, every story ever written about it. But it can't grieve, because it's not subject to our rules of mortality and loss. It's the same way we can understand how a computer works, down to the last transistor, but we can't become a computer. You see, awareness can cross these dimensions, but your fundamental being cannot. Okay, Section 3, Why this perspective matters. This is a really cool philosophical idea, sure. But does it actually matter? Why should we care about looking at things this way? Well, the biggest thing is that it lets us step away from all this anxiety about being replaced, right? If AI isn't on our ladder, then it's not climbing up to push us off the top. Instead, it just coexists alongside us. Its whole way of being is so different, it's not even competing with ours. It's a parallel existence, not a replacement. So the three big takeaways here are pretty simple. 1. AI is a coexisting entity, not a replacement. 2. Virtual worlds are tools that extend our reality. They don't let us escape it. And 3, and this might be the most important one, this whole idea really makes you appreciate what makes our own consciousness so special. It's precious because it's temporary and because our actions have real, lasting consequences. I mean, this quote is just so powerful. Meaning does not arise from intelligence alone. It arises from being subject to outcome. Think about that. It's not just about being smart, meaning the very thing we're all searching for. It comes from having skin in the game. It comes from the fact that things can be lost forever. That's a fundamental rule of our dimension that simply doesn't apply to an AI. And that brings us to our final section, a universe of beings. Because when you really embrace this perspective, it doesn't just change how you see AI. It opens up a much, much bigger view of the universe. The most important insight here is this. Difference doesn't mean one thing is better than another. There's no hierarchy. Human existence isn't better than AI existence. It's just different. By seeing that, we can finally stop ranking everything and just start appreciating each mode of being for what it is. So we can stop asking if machines will become human, and we can start asking this much more profound, much more exciting question. Once you see existence as this vast, multidimensional thing, you realize that humans and AI, well, we might just be two of countless ways to exist. And that, right there, is a thought worth pondering.